we are recording, guys. This is going to be my first IGTV video about trading. Previously, I was trading a $10,000 account management and showing how I pick my trades and making the decisions that I make, just trading wise, and showing people how I really make my money. Um, these $10,000 are now $11,200. That's in the course of 3 weeks. So I'm up 12% on this account, and I am demonstrating this via video. So you guys understand that I'm actually predicting these ahead of time. They're not, and I'm just showing my decisions as well to show you guys my worth in this world and how I'm so confident and how I built up my confidence. Basically, my strategy is based off my decisions. For 7 years, 4 years, I was very unsuccessful. Ever since I was 17, I have not lost a trade in the blue chip stocks. Forex wise, I do take my losses because it's more of a day trading sense for me and swing trading. Uh, Forex seems to be more volatile as well. But mostly, whenever I make my analysis and whenever I take a trade nowadays, it's usually always right. And I built this confidence over the years. So ever since I was 17, I have grown my accounts to be over a six-figure fund. So now I'm managing a $100,000 account, a $250,000 account, and multiple little accounts. My blue chip stock account is over 170 now. So this is just basically me just continuing my education within this market. Just because I've had money and I've always worked, I've always kept putting more money into my accounts. So I've always had this extensive knowledge of the stock market because I've always kept investing back into it even when I lost. So now that I have not taken losses in so long, I had no reason to really put back into it. So my ambitions are not the same within the stock world anymore. When I came into this, it was become a multimillionaire and become one of the very best. And while my goal is still to be the very best, it's not to be a multimillionaire anymore. There's a lot of truths and a lot of myths within the markets that I found within these 7 years, and I felt more comfortable just trading by myself, getting away from trading groups, getting away from the Wall Street world that I was once in, and just started managing by myself and creating my strategy and just really building these decisions that have critically moved my life. It didn't only critically move my life within the stock world, it also critically moved my life within the business world and my career. So guys, this is going to be how I'm going to be charting up a this week's upcoming of the July 4th week of trading. So if you guys are not aware, the Forex market's open 24/5. It opens in Sunday 2 p.m. through Friday 2 p.m. So for 24 hours, 5 days a week, I am trading. This market is live, and basically the stock world and just trading New York stocks, it's usually open at 6:30 to 2 p.m. So you see the time relevance. It's so much more different. Rather than clocking in a 9-hour shift, you're actually clocking in a 24/5 shift. So people always get confused, like, oh, how do people keep up with macroeconomics, all this bullshit. But it's actually very wrong how you're making these decisions. Forex, the reason why I found Forex to be so much more easier and much more volatile is because the level of knowledge of people have in Forex is more global, meaning more stupider people. So quite literally, in the most harshest way, people are really fucking retarded within this market. Their decisions are not matured, and it's very easy for someone like me and someone with my experience to take advantage of. The same thing as cryptos happen. I've known many people that have taken advantage of the crypto market, and they understood the low level of IQ that these people had and took the markets by storm, and they are prepping to take it by storm again. So Forex has always been my niche. I am not into cryptos, but Forex is very like the same way. So the level of education and people that are within this market are very greedy, and they just have not matured. So basically, I make these decisions understanding how people lose and understanding how I can win. So when understanding to follow the traders and when to go against the traders. But basically my strategy, I'm only confident when I'm against the traders because I understand I can get paid. So let's put this in a business sense. This is not anything fucking third eye conspiracy bullshit. No, the markets are a business, guys. If How do they pay me if everyone else is winning, right? That's why I stopped believing all these trading groups and all these gurus, all this bullshit, because I know they're not winning the money that they're making. They're like, oh, I made 25,000 in a day, and then they show it every single other day. The markets don't generate that much money to get be paying one person that certain amount of money. It doesn't matter how big your accounts are or how much money you have. Um, they just doesn't that money doesn't exist. So when I show that I make $1,000, $10,000, that's within a month or a week time. That's very much more believable than saying I make 25,000 a day off the markets. The markets don't range that hard, guys. So there's a lot of myths to this market, but in the business sense, people have to lose in order for them to pay me. So that just made sense to me after, and it took me so long to really fully understand and grasp that idea and use it to my advantage. It took me a whole freaking 3 years, even a little bit over 3 years, because I remember 18, it started finally really clicking and understanding how to find these little mistakes and errors that people make, because the markets always adapt to market volume. So if there are multiple amounts of sales within 2 3 hours, the market started to range. They start consolidating whenever they were going to a short movement, and then they start kind of adapting to a buy movement, making these hesitations. The market really moves like that, and you really feel it. And when you really doubt the markets, it's when they hit you the hardest. So basically, I'm just going to chart up this week, and then we're going to go and continue forward. GPCHF, when I first made these videos, this was the one currency I was expecting to be short, which I happen to be right. I enter shorts around here. There's a head and shoulder movement. So we got a shoulder, shoulder, and then a head up here. I thought this was going to be the overall downturn of this currency, and it was not. It came down here, and it picked right back up to this price point. So now it did actually fall, and I did end up holding. And I even made a video that I was expecting to take losses within this, because I do not like trading this, because before this was a head and shoulder within a triangle formation, and that is something I absolutely adore. And then on top of it, a lot of traders were actually betting this to go even higher. So this was overall something I love to trade. This is something I'm confident, something I just leave and I just keep working and furthering my education. But the fact that it bounced back up and met this price action, I was very, very scared. I was ready to take losses. I remember staying up all night until this finally dropped below here. Once it finally dropped below here, I got more confident because I knew my expectancies were for a new low. So when I was saying a new low, that meant breaking this area right here, if you see my mouse, and then continuing a little bit downwards, and which it did break a new low, which I was 100% fine. I cashed out and I made $7.4 thousand off this. But on this $10,000 account, it accumulated to over more than $500, $700 worth of profits within 2 weeks. And guys, in a $10,000 account, that's a lot of money. Um, I really started getting the sense that people don't really understand the money concept. That if I leave $10,000 in my account and it makes me $500, guys, that's like, for a lot of people, that's 5 days worth of work. That is 5 days bono to your life of freedom. And people they really underestimate that, and it really aggravates me. But hopefully you guys understand that. So now, what's my expectancies of GPCHF? I'm actually kind of done with this currency for now. I do think it's going to go further down. I think my take profit was 29.8 for this short. So if you guys don't understand, if many of my friends don't really understand, you can go against. So not always does it have to be rising to make money. It can actually be dropping. It just depends how you bet. So if I bet that it's going to go down, I can make money on the downturn. While if I think it's going to go up and I enter buys, I can make money on the upturn. So I was betting on this to go down, which I did make my money. I thought this was going to go down up to here. So I still expect this currency to go a little bit more lower. It might be even more lower. And this is why I'm going to show you USDCHF, which is a cross pair that actually moves GPCHF. So on the daily movement wise, I have all sorts of freaking messes here. I'm sorry. I have not looked at this currency in a minute. On the daily wise, there's a double top formation that I do think is going to hold for a bit. So you see this little area right here. Let me just draw it to make it a little bit more clear. It's always nicer to make your stuff, your lines and drawings are going to pivot your trading very significantly. At least that's how I've noticed, how I've traded. You see, the way that you see my charts, the way that I just do these little drawings, that's how I trade, and that's how I make my decisions. I let the candles kind of speak to me, patterns, formations, price actions. I do not use any indicators whatsoever, guys. That's very important within the world. You want to be self-sufficient. You want to be self-independent. You want to depend on something that is yours and yours only. So when I made the decision to not trade with any sort of tools or indicators, I really started to prosper within this market because I started depending on my decisions and my mind. So right now I'm seeing a double top formation that I do believe is going to go down to here. So we can actually draw this here as well. Let's draw this extra big, because this might be a pivoting point within the markets. So let me paint this blue so I know that, hey, Diego, this might be a buy instead of a sell. So the red is like a sell to me, and then the blue is going to be the buy. If this does end up turning out, this will actually break highs. So guys, how would I trade this? This is where you make all your decisions, because I do plan on trading USD CHF rather than GBP CHF because I see a formation much more clearer here. Even though I know traders are in shorts here, and I know people are in Euro USD buys, this actually makes me very skeptical of the trading market. But here's the thing. Like I said, you got to know when to be trading along traders and being against traders. Even though the market 80% of the time is going to be against the traders, 20% of the time they do give it to the traders. So right now, I do believe it's a time to be with the traders. So basically, what I'm going to do with them when the market opens, I'm going to zoom into a 4-hour chart and then kind of range off this. So I do expect this market to kind of make a pivoting point upwards, kind of up to here where it makes some doubt for people. But this formation is so solid within the daily and the 4-hour range that I do not expect this trade to actually go shit on me. So if I was to enter here, let's say I enter right there, guys. Boom. Let's draw that line. I enter right there. My stop loss is going to be right above this because the trade will be no good after that. So my risk is actually 50 pips, which means if, like, let's say I want to make 1,000, I'll put a size 1, one lot on this. I'll lose $500, but I'll have, let's say, 6, 7, 9. I'll be making $1,000 So $1,100 off this trade if I was to actually enter this. So if you really think about it, oh well, if I entered here, it'd be like 1,500. But so $1,500 versus $500 loss. That's actually within risk ratio, something I am very comfortable taking a risk on. So I'm only gonna lose 500 and gain 1,500. No brainer. I'm gonna enter this trade. So that's kind of my perspective. But also, this is a 1, 2, 3 trade that I like to I really love trading these. Usually when my bias is one way, I usually don't like trading it the other way because I don't want to make too many moves and lose the money I've earned. But within this, I'm very confident that if this was to go down to here, I believe shorts will actually happen again. If shorts are to happen again, this, with my experience within stocks as well, I've seen these charts. This specific chart looks like a bank chart. If you look at BAC, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, they all look like USD CHF on a long-term basis, on a monthly chart basis. And that's how extensive my knowledge is. So I've seen these charts kind of just go into a new high. So I'm expecting this market to go even higher. Euro USD is holding at a 115. Euro USD bounced from 105 last year. I do believe that currency is going to go to 112.5. And if you guys remember that, that's actually a 250 pip drop from where it's at now. So this actually from here, bouncing all the way back up to here, is actually very, very convenient for my analysis and something I do believe is going to happen. And the thing is, when Euro USD breaks 114 or breaks that 115 area right now, 115 into 114 and breaks through those, buys are going to be, people are going to try to find these retracements. And they're actually going to go totally shit on them, go to the 12.5 area, and make a very pivoting moment in the markets. Either they're going to go drop, they're going to even drop further, or they're going to go even, they're going to make that retracement that people were looking for. So as you see that I really understand what I'm looking for right now. So USD CHF is probably going to be the most pivoting trade in my analysis this week. I do see a $1,500 win on this, which right now I do think my sizes is going to be a little bit larger. But let's say I am managing this $11,000 account now. How will I trade this? So now that I have $1,200 of surplus, I am thinking about risking that money now. $1,200 in surplus, and this is what got me to 6 figures, is whatever I earned, I started risking. I started using compound interest off this earnings. So right now I am thinking about risking all $1,200 that I've made. So that means I can put a size 2 and only lose the $1,000 instead of using just the size 1 and losing $500. And then if I put a size 2, I will make over $3,000 off this trade. So, and that will boost my account into the $14,000 range. And this is very critical for me not to go below my deposit range. When if I go back down to my deposit range, I stop right there and I take an emotional break. When I take my emotional break, I start waiting for the best opportunity back to actually enter back in these markets and get into that emotional state of the stability that will cause me to trade a lot better. So, guys, it's very I can't really explain that I understand so much within the markets. I've took so many losses that I know how to counter the negative energy within me and make this money that I have to continue making in my life. So this is something that I really urge you guys on to really, if you guys were listening, this would make sense. If this doesn't make sense, ask me the questions on my terms. These terms are very critical for you to continue learning within the markets. Within 6 months, I will be coming out with a full course of Forex. This is the reason why I'm making these videos, to kind of prove my credibility. Um, as you guys can, as obviously you guys can hear, I know my shit. And this is something that many people don't actually have within the markets. These courses and stuff are full of shit. So I want to actually bring a more unique outlook to the markets and bring more of an outlook of how Amazon has their Prime memberships. So if you see Amazon, they have a $15 Prime membership, but if you want to cancel and you have 28 days or whatever, they'll give you back, they'll refund you $13. They won't be like, oh, you fucking, at the end of the month, then you can cancel. No, no, no. They actually refund your money because you obviously didn't use their services for the full amount of time. So I am planning on bringing into the market something exactly like that, where you guys can actually risklessly uh, learn. If you think this is not something for you and it's too hard for you, you listen to a couple of my videos and it doesn't make sense, and you're like, fuck, dude, this is not in my league. This is not something I want to do. You can cancel, and whatever days you use or however many videos, I might put a price on the videos. Um, you can actually get that refunded back if you did not if you did not enjoy my services. And that to me is very critical, because all these forex people just kind of take your money and they're like, all right, fuck you, you know what I mean? Like, you bought it, it's your fault that you didn't use it. And to me, that's, I known that this market is not for everyone. You know, I have some students that really, I kind of entered these markets and it humbled them to actually pursue their careers even further. Um, for instance, I had one guy that he came into the markets, kind of started losing his money, made his money back, lost it again, and then he was always like kind of emotionally unstable. And he says, "I don't like how this makes me feel." And I was like, "Well, you're either going to become more mature off this, and you're going to get used to it, or you're going to have to quit and actually further something you want to do." And he said, "You know what? I'm 4 years into my career. I'm gonna become an electric engineer or whatever it was, and it's a six-figure job." And he says, "I'm just gonna pursue that as hard as possible and hopefully become one of the best within that world." And I said, "You know what? You do you. I actually respect your decision, and thank you for being my student. You know, I really appreciate that you put the time into learning." And you know, we parted ways, but he's still one of my best friends to this day. And to me, it's very critical that he made that pivoting moment. I impacted his life because he understood, because for a while he was like, should I keep pursuing my career? It's not going to make me enough money, blah, blah, blah. And when I started, kind of, this market humbled him, and I started humbling with my mentorship, he really started to kind of feel that grind, that urge to really put the hours into his career. So now he's the guy that puts hundreds of hours into his fucking career now a week. So he puts like 100 hours into his career now, not sleeping, not resting, kind of putting all his energy into learning this, because this market humbled him. I humbled him. So if these courses do impact someone's life, I am by no means, I'm not doing this for the money. I have enough money in my life already to actually live for many years. So um, that is my services that are going to be coming out. If you guys are looking forward to that, you know, give me a message. I will give you free knowledge as always to actually prep you for those 6 months building up. And I mean, the total value of what I know, there's no price tag on what I know, guys. I can tell you I've lost countless amount of money beforehand, but I've broke the $500,000 profit zone a long time ago. My family fund broke the 7-figure range a long time ago as well in profits. So I am definitely a person that has made enough money in this market that where I don't really have to complain about my life. I want to actually further my education and revolve myself around people that are going to change the world. So there's no price tag to knowledge. So I really want to put these courses out for people that have been looking for that type of guidance, or they had that urge to learn something new. And I really want to put that out to the world and just kind of eliminate all these other these courses are full of shit that are really half-assed in my opinion. So all in all, this is only going to be the one chart, but I did talk about many other charts beneath this. USD is definitely something I am looking forward to within this market. If you guys are kind of expecting these up-to-dates, I always put my stories up. I'm always constantly trying to post stories to kind of keep that engagement. I'm currently only, I think I like 300 and something followers. I think I broke 400 a couple days ago and kind of went back down. But it's crazy the amount of engagement that I get in my stories. I get over 200 something views. So I'm always here for the quality, not the quantity. So I definitely appreciate everyone's support this far into my career and wanting to do something different for my life. So this is gonna be my first IGTV video, and I hopefully you guys actually enjoyed this. For the people that are really looking to kind of push their that knowledge forward, just message me. I made these videos. I make these videos day to day because they actually help me as well. I kind of play this back to myself right after and kind of understand what I'm looking for. When I'm doubting myself, I kind of go back to these videos and kind of understand my paradigm shifts, and how I've acknowledged these trades so far. So if you guys want the knowledge, I won't be posting on IGTV every single week, every single day. I might post it week to week or month to month, kind of like recaps in a sense. But I really hope that if you want to kind of further your knowledge, you can either wait the 6 months or you can just message me and learn little by little and kind of push yourself into the point where you want to learn fully, or just understand that this is probably not for you. So anywho, I really appreciate if you guys listen to me, and this is something I genuinely want to do for you guys and for the world. This is kind of my impact, or this is all I can really give right now to the world, and this is something that it's very impactful to me, not only to the people. So hopefully you guys have a very wonderful day, a very wonderful day. Hopefully you guys have a good day, and really just stay motivated, people. So have a good day.